So are you in the process of purchasing land from mile west of 71 all the way through the east of the county?
We're purchasing everything that we need for this project. We're in the process somewhere.
How far along are you?
I guess
all different parts.
It's kind of like,
Some of it's
I got
sold all the way on the end.
I mean, if there's a specific one I could,
Over here.
that you're interested in, I don't
Nothing
know
in the middle
percentage-wise.
to speak of.
I'm looking for,
Can't think of what it's called. It's not damages, but it's similar to that. But what it looks to me like is that if the state's only gonna pay $5,000 an acre per se, but somehow or another they've agreed to sell it at a higher rate, they put the $5,000 purchase price and then they pay an extra amount for this other.
Well, there's damages in that. For instance, say we bought an area and cut them at an angle they no longer had straight roads to farm.
Okay.
They may pay, and I'm out of my, really with right away, but there's damages because
design. That's the other one.
they're out of, it lowers the value because
It's harder to farm.
it's harder to farm, so there's a damage to that, other than just the price per square footage. And included in that also is if you have fencing, they reimburse for fencing, so, you know, for anything that has to get moved, they'll pay them for putting new fence up. And if they want to salvage what's out there, that's up to them, up until the contract's left. So there's, and if there's anything else on the property that they damage or take with the purchase, that's where it comes into, other than just land value.
Buildings.
Well,
Try
or something.
try to avoid
Yeah,
that.
trees, I'm not sure how well they deal with trees. That's a touchy one
I don't
because.
think trees are brought up. But they try to avoid buildings, I know that.
Yeah.
They can go around the building site.
Any other questions? Anybody? Thank you very much.
I
We
will
appreciate your
try to get responses to your questions here.
appreciate your coming and
Keep us informed and updated.
if you talk at all about
Oh, well, I think, well, one of the questions that's come up during construction was because of some settlement times, we were talking about, is it possible to have this closed for 2 construction seasons? And I know Ron's saying that that's going to be very difficult for the farmers because of how they, you know, to get to where they need to go. I think we might get to the point where we can maybe limit it to 1 construction season if we let it early enough so that they have some work they can be doing while we're waiting for settlement. You know, there's some things we can do too with building the structure for down drag, which is for the piling for the structure to hold up the bridge. But you either let it settle, or if it settles after you build the bridge, the settlement will tend to, you know, to pull the bridge down. So you have to build. It might mean adding additional piling or something like that. So we're looking at some of those to try to limit it to one harvest season. Is what we're shooting for.
that would help, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, the other option, well, I don't think there's, I mean, the problem here is you just don't have a lot of ways to cross. So,
That's why I point out to Tony that that it's closed there, that crossing of the Raccoon, you either gotta go into Sac City to get across the Raccoon, or you gotta
there's
go,
nothing that's,
you gotta go,
or go way up here. Like,
yeah, up there,
And
just on
down.
the edge of your map is the other bridge that you can cross. See it right up there? There. You gotta go up there and
Quite a way.
yeah.
you gotta go about 1.5 miles. And I guess it's only about 1 mile north, but
what kind of fence are you going to build along
It's basically going to be farm fence.
your fence?
No.
Well, you see places.
Well, and I know when you mentioned where the best place.
You know, like on 30, there's a section by the Iowa River on Interstate 35, and they've got that tall because of the number of deer.
Yeah, and I know, George, I was in Waterloo previously back in the 80s, I know by George West State Park, we put 10-foot deer fence out, and they still jump it.
Yeah.
But I guess, I don't know if we've considered that, but that's certainly
A lot of
something to discuss.
There
as
are a
far
lot
as-
of deer in that
Mhm.
area.
And the only thing separating them is not going to be, I mean, this is basically just a higher embankment because of the old railroad bed, but obviously they'll have, on the 75 bypass right in Sioux City, we had, luckily this happened before the bridge, or before the bypass was open, but we had some deer, when we first built across the bridges across, they were jumping, they were running over the bridge, got spooked and jumped off the side of the bridge and landed underneath on the baskets before we paved it. Like, luckily, and we put some fence on those particular bridges now, but we'll talk about that with, see if we shouldn't be looking at some of that from Quincy down to between the two bridges. Is that, or is it not even extended, or is it also going to be anywhere in this vicinity?
Pretty much.
Basically from Quincy down to...
All the way along the river there, you know, it's gonna be.
Well, that's something to concern.
Yeah. Thank you.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming down.
That just means if they have, they legally own it, then now you own it. Legally, they didn't own it, because they didn't purchase it.
But that's the way they tried to dispose of most of it.
Right, which is illegal. But they got rid of it that way, and if anybody comes and files an affidavit on top of it, the affidavit holds more weight than the quick claim deed.
Really? Yeah. Yeah, we got a quick deed on that railroad property.
The only thing there is if you pay tax on it for like 10 years and then you file an affidavit of possession, then you got it.
That's how we do it.
So that might be a reason why they let that separated.
Thanks a lot, Bob.
Thank you.